Hey everyone, I'm answering a question of one of my subscribers. She had asked how was Halloween when I was little and how was Halloween for Polly. Well, when I was little, I was able to go on Halloween, as I had shared before. The mom that raised me, who was my biological mom's sister, which would have been my aunt, but she was my mom because she raised me. She did let me go trick-or-treating, but she did come along. I remember being 13 years old and she still came along. But pretty much I'd say everyone during the time when I went trick-or-treating, I don't know, maybe it's just I lived in once I was 13, I moved into the house she had built, but yeah, before that I lived in the city, and one side of the street was Italian and the other side was Jewish, and we were neither. We were just there. So I don't know if Jewish people go out for trick-or-treating. And the Italians all had big families, and I'm sure it's not because Italians are Catholic, or are they all? I don't know, but they were when I was young, and they had big families, so maybe they couldn't afford costumes. I remember once I was looking at a costume, and my mom's like, oh, there's nowhere to breathe, there's no breathing holes, which I think back then there weren't, like in the masks. I remember, I don't know when it was, when I had little kids or later, I don't remember. They were talking about how they need to put holes in the masks so kids could breathe. So I think one time she did get me a costume, but it must have not been that memorable because I don't remember. I just remember she was trying to talk me out of the mask. Then I really wanted the mask, so she was going to put holes in it. And when she put the holes in, it pretty much there was no mask left. So during my time, everyone was either a ghost or a hobo/bum. I was never a ghost. Well, you could probably guess why, because there probably wasn't enough air in there for me to breathe. But when you think about it, if you just wear a sheet over you, I don't know if people had cut out holes for the eyes and nose and mouth, or I think they did. I don't remember, but just having a sheet over you, I'm pretty sure you could breathe. Don't know, never did it, but I was always either called it a hobo or a bum. So what I wore was the same plaid shirt. I'm not sure where it was from, because her husband, my uncle, was a pretty big man, so his shirts would be like really big on me. Remember this being a little smaller. I don't know if it was something she got from my Canadian cousin. I don't know if he wore those kind of shirts. I don't remember. Or if it was someone, we had a lot of kids on our street. Maybe someone's child had a shirt, a flannel shirt. It was blue once, it was red once, that's all I remember. And then we had charcoal, and you put charcoal on your face and a hat on your head. And I think some charcoal on the top of your hands. Surprised she let me do that, but she did. So that was me, the bum or the hobo, whatever you want to call it. That's what I was every year. Every single year. And I did have some friends that were well-to-do, and they did have costumes and stuff. But back then I remember people always, when it was cold, would, wear a coat over their costume. So basically, why spend the money for a costume if you're not going to see it, I guess, would be my thought. But yeah, that was my Halloween. And did she let me eat the candy? I think she did. Because I think we went, on my street, people we knew. The other kids got to go on other streets. They walked around with pillowcases. I don't know what I had. It wasn't a pillowcase. No idea. Maybe it was a bag or something that they sold, for trick-or-treating bag or something. I didn't have a pillowcase, but I remember the big families, they had 6, 8, 10, 12 kids. They would each come home with huge pillowcases of candy. And my mom said I could not trade my candy because, of course, I went to the houses that she knew were safe. And that's about my memories with it. Were there any Halloween parties? I don't think so. I don't remember going to any. Were there any at school? I don't remember any, but that doesn't mean they didn't happen. So that was my Halloween. Might sound grim to you, but I don't know. I got to go trick-or-treating and it made me happy. Yes, my mom tagged along, but other moms did too then. I'd say most of the moms did when I think about it. I don't know, maybe that was just, I think that was my finger back there, I don't know. But anyhow, I think that was just the kind of thing. It seems like the families with the, 6 or more kids, the parents didn't go because they figure the parents of the only child would just, what the heck, watch their kids too. I don't know. But I had fun, I enjoyed it, and I would say they were happy memories. I'm just explaining what was going on, but I enjoyed it. I look forward to it. I couldn't wait to go trick-or-treating. And, once I was 9, 10, 11, 12, when I lived in the city, a lot of the houses were houses that I babysat their kids, so, it was kind of fun to go and trick-or-treat, where I worked for these people, basically. So I started working very young, 9 and a half, when I first started babysitting, to think about it. People trusting a 9-and-a-half-year-old with 3 of their kids, I don't know, but I was very, very mature for my age. But yeah, that was my story. And so that's what we did. I was just trying to think here. So with Polly, well, let's see. We used to go on our street at the beginning. He got a costume. All my kids did. I made sure they had a costume. Just because I never really got a costume. And at first, when we were here, I don't remember what age he started going trick-or-treating, because the first 2 years of his life he had an apnea monitor, and after being a preemie he had a lot of problems. So I do not remember when he first started going. One of my other kids I remember, just because they were almost 5 months old and it snowed, so that's the only reason I remember, but not quite sure. I mean, he always came along. I was that mom. What's a helicopter mom? Is that one that hovers? I don't know. Well, if that was it, that was me. Not as bad as my mom was, but anyhow, I would go trick-or-treating with them, as long as I could. I mean, I would stand on the road, not go up to the door, neither did my mom. But Polly, of course, would come along. Then after a while, more and more people did not turn on their lights on our street. So we had an area of, our street and then the street over, because I was the house, the Kool-Aid mom. We never had Kool-Aid. I only had real juice. I don't know, my mom never let me have Kool-Aid, so I never gave it to my kids. Well, I might a few times, but as a rule, no. So all the kids came over here because all the parents were working. What is a helicopter mom? I'm going to have to look it up. But anyhow, so they went trick-or-treating, and the older ones, held the hands of the younger ones, and I would get them a bag. They would sell the Halloween bags, or McDonald's had the little buckets or whatever. Non-sponsored, of course. No, we're not sponsored by McDonald's or anyone. Just a little joke in there. So anyhow, by the way, I'm burning up because we're having this awful hot weather. It was 72 yesterday. Today, I don't know, they're trying to break a record. Why, I don't know. Anyhow, so doing the best I can burning up here. I really don't want to turn the portable air on because it's called the energy problem, the shut off. Not that it really matters, right? They're gonna shut us off and there'll be no more YouTube or nothing, but whatever. I guess that would be sorry, there's my finger. The least of my problems. So anyhow, back to the Halloween. So he always got a costume. And I remember him being in the stroller, so I'd walk up to the house where he, when he was in the stroller in his little costume, and I would just, hold up a bag so he got some candy. I don't think he was eating it back then, but the other, my other kids divided up, so they always said, oh yeah, we should take him. Not that we had a choice, I never left him home with, we won't talk about that person, but anyhow, then after a while, more and more people were turning on their lights. So then we always drove to my mom's and her friends' houses. One was very close to me, like 2 blocks over, 2 long blocks. You couldn't walk, you had to drive it. So even though when there were a lot of lights on, we still drove to all the kids' godparents' houses and the grandparents and, friends of my mom. So we did that too. which was horrible when, you know, you had a bunch of little kids, and if it was cold, you know, and then they had boots and whatever. It was a lot of work. That's why I do not like Halloween. I prefer to give out candy, and I remember we did give out candy. I don't know, in the first marriage, did we go out real early and give the candy later, or go out, I don't know what it said. So either we went out early and gave the candy later, or gave the candy at first and went out a little later. I don't know, because you know, it gets dark early. Of course, I don't know how it was back then, because they just changed a while ago, the, you know, the time. Who cares? I'm getting way up. I'm mixing myself up. But anyhow, I prefer to stay home and give out costumes, geez, candy. And I think one year we did. I don't remember, but it seems like we did. So then when, you know, he was able to, he went trick-or-treating, and I went up with him on the porch and, you know, held his bag, or he held his bag. And my kids always had a costume. I mean, if they wanted to have one made, or they wanted to make one, they could do it, but they wanted a costume. So my first marriage, you know, it was not a problem. The second one, not that it was a problem, but it was much easier in the first marriage. So I continued when I was able to work, or when I worked. The problem was the father in the second marriage didn't want to watch his kids, because I had a job that paid more than him, so he didn't like that. But when I was able to work and I had my own money, they always had, you know, nice costumes and whatever. But now in hindsight, looking back, the other two always had what they wanted, but Polly didn't. So, you know what they say, when you're in love, you're deaf, dumb, blind, stupid, and you don't see the red flags. But I always got him something, and he still remembers. One year, I had to get him, well, I didn't have to, he happened to see something at the Dollar Tree, and it was like, I think we still have one of the parts of the costume he found the other day. He says, Mom, remember when I got this? Good Lord, I am so hot, I can't take it. Oh my God, hope I don't pass out during this. But anyhow, sorry, trying to take off my hoodie, I don't pass out. But anyhow, sorry, I know I get all dizzy. But he said, remember that year I got my costume at the Dollar Tree, when it was a Dollar Tree? And that was because his father said he had no money. That's when he was still here. You know, we were together, air quotes, you know, together. We were husband and wife. Well, were we? I don't know. Were we ever? Who knows? But anyhow, but the other two got costumes, and he just ran out of money when it came to Polly. But I think that was his best Halloween. He still remembers, and he talks about it. We happen to find some pictures, actually. Maybe I will make that as the front picture if I can find it now. We had a costume that he liked. I forgot who it was. I want to say Spider-Man, maybe, but I don't know. Could have been the Power Ranger. I don't remember. But anyhow, he still remembers that Dollar Tree, and I bought him it was like a shield. He had, I think, a mask, but that he wore it on his head because he said he couldn't breathe through it. There was really, I don't think it had any breathing holes. I don't know. Maybe it had a little one, but, and then there were these things he put on his arms, his forearms, and then I think there was a little, what's it called, a sword. So he was just something, I don't know what it was, but many a times he just had that, but those are the memories he remembered the most, so go figure. But the other ones who got the expensive outfits, you know, that Daddy-O bought for them because they had to have the best, they didn't appreciate it. Something about Polly is like me. I always appreciate everything I got in life, as I do to this day, and as does my son. He appreciates everything. You know, he might have had a Dollar Tree costume, but, you know, he had the most compliments when he went to the door. Not the two other kids who had the expensive ones from the store, and of course, I won't go into that. I don't want to get myself upset. But anyhow, so I just thought it was interesting just the other day that, you know, he said, remember when I had the costume from the Dollar Tree? And he even said, I wonder if they still sell things like that. I don't know if they do. And I don't remember how old he was when he had that costume, but he enjoyed it thoroughly. He really, he enjoyed everything and anything, as I do, as we both do. We're cut from the same cloth for sure. So I made Halloween special one year. I made a a thing where they it was on a table, and then there were bowls, and they were covered with, I don't know, maybe a sheet, or I don't know what I covered with. Anyhow, like they would put their hands in, and I'd say it's like brains, and I don't know, you made stuff like with noodles or jello. I don't remember. I did it with my Cub Scouts a few years, probably every year. But then I thought I'd do it for my own kids, so we did that. And when we got home, we always had, treats I had for them, like cookies or some kind of Halloween thing I made. One year I made cookies made out of fingers. I don't think it's on this memory card. I wish it was. I'd make that the front page. But I always had something here, and of course we either made or bought cookies, that you cut, make in the oven, and they would always color cookies, decorate them, not color them. So we always did something, and I made it special, even though I dreaded it, because especially toward the end when we were going out, because the only places we went were to my mom, and later when she was gone to her friends, and it was always driving. And I do remember, I'd say the last 10 years maybe, it was always raining, and the leaves were on the ground. It was wet. I can't stand being wet, and I don't like Halloween, so a wet Halloween is not my favorite. And so far in the forecast, the Halloween this year is for the thing that begins with S like Sandy. So I'm not looking forward to that at all, because it seems like, summer started in May. It's toward the end of October. It won't go away. I love fall/autumn, and we can't get to enjoy it because summer just won't go away. But anyhow, so we won't be giving out candies, because over the years, I think we stopped giving out a few years ago. Over the years, we had bought like a bag because we knew it was getting less and less people. A funny fact, my dad, who lived with his mother most of his life between his marriages, he had many, but he would count every year how many kids came to the door. Not sure why, but he did. But I just kind of, I didn't like count. Like he would put a thing with a pen, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you cross the fifth one. I don't know if you know what I talk about. People do that in math sometimes. But anyhow, he knew exactly how many people. But I would kind of, you can guesstimate, when you're cooking. You estimate, guesstimate, whatever the word is, when you don't measure. So I didn't count, but you could tell over the years, and we really haven't had anyone for a long time. So we're not going to, because first of all, we couldn't afford the candy. And I've been looking around because Polly can't have chocolate, and there's really nothing there that he can have. I know for 10 years of my life, when I was first diagnosed with my heart problem, I couldn't have chocolate. My mom always bought me white chocolate for Halloween. Polly doesn't really like the white chocolate. I was hoping to get some and maybe flavor it, but everything is so out of reach, and to have waste money on that when we're having a shut off on our power, well, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it, because YouTube will be gone. We'll be gone. I mean, we're going to freeze. So it's going to be very cold here in our weather. So, but anyhow, back to the Halloween thing. So anyhow, he had a fun Halloween. He talks about a lot. He has memories, and I did everything for my kids. My whole life revolved around my children, around Polly, and my friends now, their kids are grown. I don't know if anyone has a child age that I have, but anyhow, I am still continuing to raise a child. Well, he's sort of an adult according to the law, maybe. I don't know. I don't really know. How do they say 18 is an adult, but yet, that'll be for another time, another story I was going to share with you. But anyhow, yep. So he enjoyed Halloween. He has a lot of memories. He always says, remember this, remember that. So he had a lot of fun, and I too. So that was our Halloween. If anyone would like to share what you did you just have the homemade costumes, or did you get costumes? And how about with your kids or your grandkids, or just anything you want to share about Halloween? Or did you go, what's called bobbing for apples or something like that? I do remember going to a Halloween party when I lived in the city. I remember the people next door had made one. Yep, I went. Of course, my mom was there, but I remember that. But like now now they don't anymore. But before the world went sideways, they used to have town parties on Halloween, so they discourage people from going out, because we live in a world of, I don't think you could say those things on here, but bad people. But anyhow, yeah, I can say without something of doubt. What do they say in court? Without the, I don't know what I was saying is, but anyhow, Polly thoroughly enjoyed his Halloween because he still to this day talks about it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Mom right behind me or not, didn't matter. I had fun. He had fun, and that is that. So that was our Halloween. So to my subscriber, I promised to talk about it. You asked, and you received. So if anyone would like to share their Halloweens, that would be great. I'd like to know how it was when you were little. So for now, don't forget to subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, be kind to people. You don't know what they're going through. Pay it forward if you can. Be the reason someone smiles today. I hope our story had you smile. Paulie was going to talk about his experience, but sadly he is getting worse again with his problem that he was sick with, very sick this year. It just happened within the last couple of weeks. He's been going down the tubes, so he's very weak, and of course it causes me a lot of stress, especially now with them shutting the power off. They don't care, they don't give a crap. And please don't talk about what I should do. I did everything before you told me to. There's no help. The help comes out actually. I had a call that came, an automated call. So people on welfare or get SNAP, I don't know what even that is, but they can go down at the end of, no, sometime in November. And then for others will be, I think they said December 2nd. So that wouldn't help me as I am others, as I'm not on welfare.